Aging is a natural process for all of us, but are we staying useful long enough? And are we aging correctly? Did you know Ayurveda has such beautiful secrets and guidances for all of us to stay youthful for long and to age correctly? In Ayurveda, aging is considered a disease. I'm so eager to meet my highly qualified guest today, Dr. Nikhila Hiremat. One of the beautiful things about Dr. Nikhila is she was chosen to be a teacher of Indian culture in Namibia.
Aging is actually one of the branches of Ayurveda.
So aging is a disease in Ayurveda.
Yes. Aim of Jara Chikitsa, it is called as treatment of old age. Youth or 20s is the time when you lose your childhood. So originally the lifespan was 400 plus. Like 400 was the minimum. Nowadays diseases are getting accepted,
normalized.
Migraine has become kind of an accepted thing. Like nowadays we are accepting that migraine is a normal thing.
Nowadays they talk about oil pulling, but oil pulling is a longer method, right? So you're saying that just when you're
simplified.
Simplified, every day just put a little oil.
We quote it as a inflammation. So it's a very, very small time bomb which starts in your body. The Dinacharya is the activities that start from the time that you wake up and they end at the time when you go to sleep. A diet and nutrition for a 20-year-old would be to have as a good protein as possible. He is the best elixir actually. There is a lot of misconception.
So migraine can also be a sign of aging faster.
Yeah, but walking is not for younger people. Vegan yogurts, etc., those are highly processed. They are not naturally formed. The Medha Shakti will start to reduce. The eyes, the Indriyas will reduce. Yoga is not just exercise, it's beyond that. The sexual vigor, as per Ayurveda, if you age, it doesn't reduce till 70s and 80s.
So come join me, sit back, relax, and see me at Vitamin B with Bohana.
So, Nikhila, welcome to Vitamin B this morning. It's a beautiful, quiet morning, and it's wonderful to have you here at the studio.
Thank you very much for having me, Mona.
It's wonderful. I've heard so much about you from extended friends, and it was such a pleasure to actually first talk to you, get to know you, and the fact that you spend so much of your time in this beautiful space of Ayurveda, yoga, things that I follow myself to some extent, to some good extent in my life. So it's really something I'm really looking forward to today, to learn more from you and really spread the knowledge as well.
Very happy to be here.
Great. So how are you feeling this morning?
I'm good. A little bit stressed, but it's okay.
Oh no, absolutely not. This is your first podcast, right?
Yeah.
You've done so many interviews. You've been around the world, and that little bit of nervousness is always really helpful.
It's always there. Beginners, this I suppose.
It's for all of us. It's for all of us. That's great. I want to start our beautiful conversation today with your experience in Namibia. The Indian High Commission selected you, and a few years back, 2019 to 2020, you were in Namibia to teach the country our Indian heritage and culture. What a beautiful experience. How was that?
It was very wonderful experience. Actually, it was educational for both me as well as the country. This was an experiment done by the government, actually, the Ministry of External Affairs, and they sent us as teacher of Indian culture. So ours was the first batch, but now it has become a regular practice. So when I went there, I understood that it's not just enough to have the knowledge of the science, but you should always have a little bit extra knowledge of multiple things. Like we do have a saying that like multiple shastra adhyayana is required. So I learned how to prepare the posters,
Yeah.
what is the importance of social media, how to speak to other people. Like, of course, I have dealt with other country citizens. They used to come for treatment at Shri Shri, but that was a group which was already sensitized about Ayurveda and yoga. So it was not that tough for us to tell them what is the treatment,
Okay.
what is the diet,
Yeah.
how to go about it, and all. But when I went to Namibia, it was entirely different environment,
Yeah.
and I had to start from scratch. Like, I had to educate them that there is a science called Ayurveda, and
Okay. So people actually
So,
did not know about
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Okay.
like totally no idea at all.
Yeah.
And Indian culture, they have usually the Westerners have a kind of idea mindset about Indians, and they don't actually know what is the proper culture, or like what is the idea of India. So we had to start with that. So I kind of extended my
Yeah.
scope.
Hmm.
I had to enter Indian culture, not just yoga and Ayurveda and ice streams. I had to educate them regarding multiple things.
Yeah.
I even started a language class.
Okay.
Some
On Sanskrit?
simple, yeah,
Oh,
Hindi,
Hindi,
and
okay. Yeah.
some simple like chantings.
Interesting.
And I had 4 yoga classes going on.
Okay.
Weekends, I used to I had requests to teach Rangoli.
Okay. So interesting. But was there
Yeah.
resistance of any kind?
Like, it was, I didn't feel that it was a resistance kind of this, because of course I had planned it like that. We were a little bit aware because that was a Christian country. So we had that priest mindset that we have to be very careful, and especially we were coming from a diplomatic community, we didn't want to create any opposition.
Yeah.
But at the end of my tenure of 2 years, I was so happy with my work.
Yeah.
That like, if COVID hadn't
Yeah.
it was not the case, then we would have ended up having a MOU between Ayush Ministry and the Health
Okay.
Ministry of Namibia
Okay.
for Ayurveda, yoga classes, and multiple things actually.
Okay.
The resistance was from the mindset of
Yeah.
High Commission itself.
Okay.
They were a little bit careful. Like, they told me not to chant Omkara on the first class itself.
Yeah.
But then I decided I'll ask the participants,
Yeah.
and I gave them the meaning of the chants, and
Yeah.
I told that they are not religious. If you see the like Sarve Bhavantu Sukhino, that chant is a very, very simple peace chant, a thought. So, and they were so happy that they took copies of the chant, and they learned it. And it was so sweet to listen from their
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
The next yoga day, they actually sang the chants.
Okay. Okay. That's
So,
wonderful.
yeah.
That's really like a lifetime's amazing
Yeah.
experience for you, right? So that's great. I want to basically, talk about Ayurveda, which is what you do.
Yeah.
You live it, you experience it, you teach it. You are involved in so many things to spread the curriculum of Ayurveda. In fact, from designing it
Yeah.
to actually understanding the future of Ayurveda right from the ancient past, right? And really ensure that most people know about it,
Yeah.
right? So, what is Ayurveda?
Okay, it's to explain it in very simple meaning of the word Ayurveda. It's like science of life or knowledge of life in a way. So it is one of the most ancient healthcare systems,
Yeah.
which originates from Vedic culture, and it's being practiced as a mainstream medical practice
Yeah.
in a era wherein our culture was pretty rich.
Yeah.
And like, it has had its own kind of ups and downs, but post independence it was recognized by the government as one of the systems of healthcare systems. And it has been formalized into a educational system, a proper medical care system, and like pharmacopoeia or the medicine preparation and everything. has been kind of legalized in Indian continent.
Yeah.
But yes, it has to yet cover the world.
So the ancient Ayurveda, what did it stand for? What were its principles?
It was actually originating from the culture.
Yeah.
So as I said, it's more of a lifestyle. So the idea behind having Ayurveda was to inculcate the practices from the birth itself, or even prior to the birth, so that you have the purest form of seed to give to a purest form of progeny, and not to have any sort of diseases or health modifications or health deviations
Sure.
throughout your life. And it's not just that. Even Ayurveda speaks about like the aim itself is to have a preventive mindset,
Yeah.
wherein the life has a very very happy and harmonious balance in it.
So this is what I pretty much always have understood of Ayurveda. And whenever we have debates or discussions, right, I always differentiate it from anything else like allopathy or any other field, that Ayurveda is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
If you do certain things, then you don't end up with a certain disease. So it's very preventive. I think the word is prevention, right? And that's the beauty of Ayurveda, that it says live a certain beautiful way, holistic way as well. So what is Ayurveda not about?
Ayurveda is not about just herbs. Ayurveda is not about just medicine, and like it's so much more. People usually take it in a very very small meaning, and Ayurveda is especially not about only vegetarianism or even the roadside tents that you see. Herbal medicine, no. Ayurveda is not at all that. Ayurveda is not even nati aushadhi. These are ramifications of Ayurveda, yes, definitely.
Sure.
But Ayurveda is a well-established science which even modern surgery accepts. If you see in modern surgery's history, the first chapter will have Shushruta's name. Acharya Shushruta was the father of surgery for Ayurveda as well. So it's like the allopathic modern science has taken some things from Ayurveda as well. So it was that well established. It had its own branches. There are like right now we have around 14 plus branches in Ayurveda, specialities.
Like what? Can you give us one or two examples?
Like my specialty is Swasthavrita Evam Yoga. That is preventive medicine. So preventive medicine was not acknowledged in allopathic science for nearly like centuries. Just couple of centuries back, they understood that okay, there is something that you can prevent the disease with, and the preventive medicine was given a separate branch. But Ayurveda had it from, like, even the first objective of Ayurveda was to prevent the diseases.
Right.
There is Jara Chikitsa, that is general medicine, you can say. There is surgery, Shalya Tantra, Shalakya, that is ENT and more. Actually.
Wow. So almost all parts of the body's functions has a dedicated space, a stream of understanding and getting into the depth of it. When did Ayurveda start? If in India, the timelines are all over the place, right? With history, be it our temples, be it anything we can think of. So how back in time did actually Ayurveda start, in your view?
It's pretty hard to say. It was mainly traditional science which was orally transmitted from the masters to the disciples. And just like maybe 5,000 years ago, it started to come into a written form.
So it's older than 5,000 years. Okay, so earlier it was oral, but then they started writing it. So what is a text that people can find to understand and read about Ayurveda?
Sanskrit is the main language of Ayurveda. So and then it started with Vedic Sanskrit, a little bit different from what we find right now. But then it's not exactly Vedic Sanskrit as well. It has a little bit of different existence, and it started from it is a part of Atharva Veda. So the actual proper text we find is as a part of Atharva Veda, but then it has been updated. Like the Ayurveda's acharyas are so forward thinking that time to time, as
Yeah.
the era changed, they updated the science.
Yeah.
Like there was this Vedic period, and then there was a Samhita period.
Yeah.
That's where the three main Samhitas
Right.
are very famous.
Yeah.
Like Charaka Samhita, Shushruta, and Vagbhata. Actually, Vagbhata Samhita is a conglomeration of Charaka and Shushruta.
Okay.
So that was the updation first stage.
Yeah.
And after that came the Nighantukaras. Nighantus are kind of dictionaries or knowledge sources, wherein the Kali Yuga kind of era when it started.
Yeah.
So the updation was required because the environment was changing, and kala-wise everything changes, right?
So
The people's
each
mindset.
yuga, each kala,
Yeah.
they had updated the Ayurvedic texts
Yes.
for people's use, and man became smaller also, right?
Very
So
true.
you basically saw a relevant Ayurvedic, what do you say? Principles that were made. Wow, that I
Yeah.
didn't know. That was amazing. Yeah.
And that is the beauty of Ayurveda, and that's why it cannot be standardized in a way, because it has concepts which can be applied at any point of time for
Yeah.
any person.
Yeah.
So you can take one concept of anything for that matter.
Yeah.
It seems very abstract
Yeah.
to a person, a layman, but to a trained Ayurveda physician, that is the best scientific way. Because not every person is alike, right? We cannot standardize people. There are so many variations, race, gender,
Yeah.
geographical origin. So
Yeah.
everything.
So it's personalized and
Yeah.
contextualized. This
Yeah.
is what I love about it, right? And it takes time. See, the main thing is that it takes time, right? It's
Yeah.
not something that can be solved. If you have a disease, if you have an issue, when you adopt the Ayurveda way, my observation at least is that it takes time, and
Right.
that's where our cultural nuance on patience to recover also becomes crucial.
True.
So why is it that Ayurveda is still, in spite of it's great that the government actually has brought in Ayush Ministry.
Yeah.
In our insurance schemes and organizations also, it allows us to claim. Why is it that it's still not at par or viewed culturally at par with allopathy?
There are certain things, because like it's in both ways.
Yeah.
So first of all, standardization is seen as the most required what you say rule, which is a bit difficult with Ayurveda. As
Yeah.
I said, it's a personalized science, and to convert it to a modern perspective, it's a bit tough. But yes, nowadays there are certain researches and this standardization procedures which are kind of like people are accepting.
Yeah.
That this is how it is, and we'll
Yeah.
have to modulate a research methodology for Ayurveda. So even WHO and all these people, different institutions are accepting it, but it's a long way because the science is very vast.
Sure.
And a very small part of it, yes, it is standardized nowadays. At least the medicinal part of it has been standardized a bit.
And is that an issue? I mean, is that why it is not seen like a common man would run for allopathy more,
Yeah.
right, than Ayurveda, right? Why is that happening?
The methodology of Ayurveda was very different. Like the way you understood, we have our own set of rules and regulations.
Yeah.
So the research methodology was also there in Ayurveda, but the methodology is entirely different. Like we have darshanas, or we have different like aspects wherein people understand things at different standards. And the modern standards are different. Like for example, if I give you one this blood, if we take, we have different blood tests.
Yeah.
To understand. So people have been learning what is blood, what are the components of blood. So it becomes easy for them when I tell, okay, your hemoglobin percentage is less. So you understand it.
Yeah.
And you know what to do, what
Yeah.
it means and everything. But in Ayurveda, the tests were at that point of, they are also standardized as per Ayurveda. Like we have 10-fold examinations, 8-fold examinations, and we have urine tests. We have various tests, but they are very different. If I tell you your nadi shows that vata has increased, you will not understand it.
Yeah.
That is the difference.
So fundamentally, we don't understand the language of Ayurveda.
Yes.
That's not familiar to us.
Yeah.
And also, like, over the decades in India, there's so many people who have practiced it wrongly, right? Like, a lot of
Yes.
people don't trust homeopathy or Ayurveda as
Yeah.
easily as they trust allopathy. But actually, when you take medicines, they are actually harming you a lot more, right? There's
Very
so
true.
many side effects, and we're still ready to take
Yeah.
that path, right?
Yeah.
And it always baffles me as to why we make those choices, but it's lack of
It's
knowledge.
just familiarity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, very interesting. But it's great to see the efforts that the government of India has made through
Yeah.
the Ministry of Ayush, and it's wonderful to see that it's slowly something that's being accepted as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wanted to really deep dive today with you on aging,
Okay.
right? But before we do that, who is, or is there even a definition of a healthy, functioning human being?
Yes, actually, Ayurveda prides on that definition. There are multiple definitions actually. There are different levels. There is a conceptual definition, and then there are applied definitions where you can actually evaluate as well. So I'll go with the conceptual for now.
Yeah, sure.
A healthy person is one whose bioenergies, in a way, the doshas, what we call, are in a harmonious state or equilibrium state as per his body type,
Okay.
his digestive capacities, or his transformative functionalities throughout the body are proper, up to mark. His what you say, kind of the overall functions, and his in a way, kind of his mind, body, and the conscious are in a harmonious way. His tissues, everything like functions. When I say from tissue formation, the quality of tissue to the organs, everything is included here.
Okay.
So they are, but then when I say they are working in the best possible scenario for that person, I say it with the respect of his prakriti, his that person's like a constitution, whatever he was born with.
Okay, got it.
To his level.
If I'm disease free, then I'm born a certain way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Some people have a certain disease they're born with.
Yeah.
But then how do you balance that?
Yes.
But essentially, what you're saying is all your subtle energies, gross energies, need to be balanced, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And there's Ayurveda talks about Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, which is your three doshas.
Yes.
So can you tell us about that? Because that's a fundamental architecture to how a human being is sort of referenced in Ayurveda, right?
Yeah. These are the basic bioenergies, you can say.
Yeah.
See, for everything, it is kind of a concept which dives deep into every aspect and has its ramifications. So when you say a body, it needs transportation in everything, right? The blood has to get transported, the thought process has to transport, the movement is required for everything, your arms move and everything. So that is considered to be Vata, which is responsible for all the transportation or conduction or such thing. So it is kind of a bioenergy of transportation, you can say. And then there is a functionality wherein transformation is happening. Digestion is happening. Hormones are sending the messages or such. This is happening. That is the bioenergy of Pitta. Transformation. And then there is a requirement wherein lubrication is required, a structure formation is required. You have to hold the things. That is Kapha.
Wow. So, no one has ever explained it to me like this, because most of us are looking at diet charts, trying to understand if we are thin, okay, we're like this, so I'm Vata. So I need to do these things. So it's really at that surface level. So what you're saying is that there is something that is helping us ensure that things are flowing well, or the fluids, etc., are flowing well. The second is something that's releasing your hormones well,
digestion and transformation,
and that's transforming your movement, is it?
Everything, like from formation of tissues to your digestion of food. Or when you are looking at it, you are processing the thought, or the sense organs are processing the signals. All that transformation is Pitta.
Oh, that's fantastic. And then you ultimately have something that's lubricating your body as well. And can you give us an example of that?
the synovial fluids in
Yeah.
your joint, you can say, or the mucus that is secreted, the fluid that is holding your eyeball,
Yeah.
everything. It is kapha.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is also something which will bind it. It will give a structure.
Yeah. Okay.
So in that way.
Very interesting. So where does the element of, does Ayurveda actually have a definition of aging?
Yeah. Yeah. Like aging is actually one of the branches of Ayurveda.
Okay.
It is a specialty, like how
Okay.
you have general medicine,
Yeah.
or like preventive medicine, I said, or surgery or something. In the same way, there were 8 branches which were basically propagated, and Jara was the one of the branches, and it was like at its peak.
Yeah.
In like couple of decades back, you can say.
Decades or centuries?
Centuries, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
A couple of centuries back, because you might have heard of a sage called Chavana Maharshi.
Okay.
He was said to have been very old,
Yeah.
and he was allotted with couple of tasks wherein he had to have a vigor of a young man.
Okay.
So there are, like, we do attribute Ayurveda. We don't say that it originated in this era by this person. We
Okay.
attribute it to a higher being, because we don't want it to be something which is common. So the gods gave him this Chavana Prash.
Oh.
And he took that and he became young.
Oh, that's why you have Chavan Prash.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay. Incredible.
So that's one example. There is a Kuti Praveshika Rasayana wherein even a 70-year-old person can go inside, and it's like a few months process wherein you get cleansing, detoxification, and then a proper set of medicines and everything, and you emerge out as a young man. There was a study done very recently in Kerala. This Kuti Praveshika Rasayana was tried, and it was seen that it is actually effective even now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So the main basic aim of Jara Chikitsa, it is called as treatment of old age, because we consider it as a disease in a way.
So aging is a disease.
Yeah.
In Ayurveda.
Yes. We have a category of disease called as Swabhavika Roga, that is natural diseases. So even hunger, thirst, all these are considered as natural diseases. Like, they are a problem and you need to solve them.
Unbelievable. Okay, sure.
So the process of losing your capacity is called as Jara in a way.
Okay.
And like your muscular strength and everything.
Yeah.
There is a specified time limit when you will lose what. Like, for example, youth or 20s is the time when you lose your childhood. Balya, Balyavastha, and your 30s is the time when you will start to lose certain aspect of your this Yavana.
Yeah.
According to Ayurveda, the middle age starts at 40.
Oh.
So you are youthful till 40 years of age. So there is in 20s you grow.
Yeah.
The growth is still like development, you can say, not exactly growth. It's still happening, and you need to inculcate certain practices that you ensure that you grow well.
Yeah.
And then after 60s onwards, you should actually start aging. You should not age till 60s.
Okay, very interesting. But it's very different now, right? So that just brings me to a very fundamental point. How are people aging today?
Very badly, I can say.
And why? What's going on?
See, there are a couple of answers here. But first, I would like to start with the concept of aging in a way. See, the Kala concept, there have been 4 centuries or 4 timelines which have been explained, and the Kali Yuga is the 4th one. And in Ayurveda, it is already written that it's not like the future has been written or something, but it's the process, natural degradation, how it happens. Even Earth has its own timeline. So when you come to Kali Yuga, there will be like Padamshika Rhasa, it is
Okay.
told. Like quarter of the this will
Yeah.
be lost.
Okay.
So as you moved from different yugas, Dwapara Yuga, etc., Treta Yuga, and you came to Kali Yuga,
Kali Yuga.
there has been happening a loss of everything. Like different species have been lost,
Yeah.
and the capacity has reduced.
Sure.
The entire energy level has reduced.
Yeah.
So that is a natural way how everything will age.
Yeah.
So we have reached at a last step of this. So originally the lifespan was 400 plus. Like 400 was the minimum, like how we say right now average age.
Man was living for 400 years. Wow.
So right now average age is 60s. Like for example, if you see, but then at that point of time the average was 400. And now Kali Yuga has allotted age of 120 years. And it will keep on reducing. Like there is a different calculation, but then it will keep on reducing. But even if you right now take it as 100 years is the average lifespan of a man. So the man should start aging at 60s.
Sure.
But the current era wherein a lot of environmental change is happening. It's not just the pollution, but it's the way how man conducts himself and the food that he puts inside, all the other activities, mental activities, physical activities he is into. He's aging pretty fast. The transformation has taken a lot of speed. If you see the statistics itself, like it's 11% old age population which was there. It's going to double by 2030. Like it's just couple of years ahead. In 2030, it's going to be 22% plus. The old population.
Yes, our demography is aging, certainly.
And it's not a very good picture because you end up with less enthusiasm, less energy, load of diseases. It's not even that you are aging well. So it's
and you were telling me when we were planning for the podcast as well that you were trying to look at a disease-free person for your understanding and study, and it was not even available, right?
True. We are doing at the healthcare company that I'm working for. We are working on a anti-aging, not exactly anti-aging, but a wellness product.
Or staying young.
Which can freeze your youth for this, and it can reverse a little bit because see, there are multiple markers wherein we can understand how the person is aging. So I was trying to get people from every decade because I was searching from 30s. I got some people, okay, they were comparatively not on any medications. They had certain biomarkers of aging, but not on medication. 40s also was a little bit tough, but still I got some. 50s was very tough. 50s and 60s, though it's like we finally gave up. We thought, okay, fine.
So there's no healthy person at that age. They have some disease or something. So what are the biomarkers of aging? Like early aging, right? Like something that just comes to my mind is it okay to have gray hair? Which is it's there right now. When you're in your 20s. So can you help us understand few things that people can relate to, like easily that, hey, actually you should not be having this, you're already aging.
Actually, biochemically, if you see, we quote it as a inflammation. So it's a very, very small time bomb which starts in your body, and we do a lot of things to help it grow in a way. We nurture it nicely. So that slow chronic inflammation and oxidative damage that the food and the toxins that we are putting in our body cause will slowly show the this in your 20s. Like if you are having too many skin related issues or hair related issues, it might be graying, it might be dull luster or something. It's not the age that you should have that. You are still growing. So you should be full of energy. If you feel loss of energy, if you are getting affected mentally, like you are going into depression, anxiety, those are all signs that you are not growing properly.
So
There is
is
something
that
like
you're not growing properly, but does that mean you're aging faster?
Yeah. You are kind of missing some
Yeah.
decades of your life. Biologically, you are aging pretty fast.
Okay.
So like pains, joint pains, we see that very young girls and boys have joint pains. They
Okay.
have back pain, headaches,
Yeah.
digestive issues, repeated. Indigestion has become a very common fact. Migraine has become kind of a accepted thing. Like nowadays, we are accepting that okay, migraine is a normal thing. Many people have it.
So migraine can also be a sign of aging faster.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it shows that there is some inflammation, overweight.
Yeah.
Simple. If you are gaining weight, that means you are aging in a way. There is an inflammation already set in your body.
So the basis of anything that is causing faster aging and not keeping you young and relevant to that particular age that you are is inflammation. The core basis is inflammation.
If you deduce, you come down to boil down to one main then inflammation and oxidative damage.
So wrong food, excessive habits, they all cause inflammation, isn't it?
Yes.
And inflammation can happen in all body organs, or inflammation is just, how do you define inflammation?
Inflammation can happen anywhere, especially when we say, when we assess a person's age, biological age, we usually go for very important organs like your lungs, heart and your brain, liver, these organs. And these are the first organs which show the signs of inflammation as well. Even your skin can get inflamed and it can show the signs of aging.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So inflammation is a if you can define that, that means let's say the liver, it is inflamed, would mean that it's not functioning correctly, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There is certain part of it which is like
swollen, or is that the right word to use?
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
Because I was surprised at the approach of the doctors nowadays. Like liver cirrhosis is a condition wherein the liver becomes like solid.
Yeah.
It's that part of liver is not working at all. And it is an accepted fact that in 30s onwards, the liver cirrhosis starts.
Okay.
So if you go for a scan and it shows like first grade liver cirrhosis, it has started, then the doctor will not even take it into account. Oh, it's a normal thing. Many people have it. So don't worry about it. So nowadays, diseases are getting accepted,
normalized.
As,
this is, and the other thing that baffles me, and I've talked so much about it in our previous podcast, is how normal it is to have like a bloating issue, right?
Yeah.
Every third person is talking about it, and it was never like this before.
No.
And it's happening across age groups as well. But that's really good to understand that, actually core of all of this is inflammation.
Yeah.
Core of all of this is that you're surrounded by habits that are causing that inflammation, right? Yeah.
And that is the worst part is the habits what you are surrounding yourself can be stopped and it can be changed.
Yeah.
That is the worst part. And then still we don't know, first of all, lack of knowledge. And then we continue because of.
So let's talk a little bit about that, right? So I want to talk about staying young, staying healthy, and not aging fast. Okay. So there are certain themes that I thought through that we can really discuss. But one of the most, irrespective of whether it's food, diet, sleep, emotional health, etc., one of the things that Ayurveda says is do it daily. There's a lifestyle and it's called Dinacharya, right? So tell us about Dinacharya. Let's start there. And then we'd love to take tips from you in terms of how do we actually enhance our health, stay young and youthful.
Dinacharya, that is the beauty of Ayurveda in a way. We have set of activities in a way. So which if you inculcate in your day-to-day life. Culturally, Indians are already trained in that. That is the best part. Because of maybe westernization or different thought processes, we are leaving those practices. But if we can just see what our ancestors were doing, and might not be that extent, but some of those, if we inculcate in ourselves, then we would be much more healthier.
Yeah.
So the Dinacharya is the activities that start from the time that you wake up and they end at the time when you go to sleep. So it's like a cyclic activities that you should do. It's as simple as getting up in the morning, you brush your teeth, and while brushing you do gargle, right? So it's simple, keeping a bit of a bottle of oil in your bathroom, and when you gargle with water, along with that you also add a little bit of oil and gargle. That is like that will actually help in like strengthening your oral cavity, your buccal cavity. Also it will help reduce your wrinkles. It will
because
not
you gargle.
Yeah.
And it can be any oil, coconut oil, any oil. But nowadays they talk about oil pulling, but oil pulling is a longer method, right? So you're saying that just when you're
simplified,
simplified, every day just put a little oil along with water that's in your mouth when you're brushing your teeth.
Or you can just have oil as well.
Okay. And just gargle a little bit. How long should you do that?
We actually say that you should either hold it if you don't want to gargle, or gargle till you start to have a little bit of pain, or your the secretions, mucus secretions, salivary secretions start to pull up.
Okay.
And then you can spit it out. That's it.
So daily, that's what is called Dinacharya. So Dinacharya means what are the things that you do daily in your life?
Yeah.
So why does that matter? What if you do it daily? What happens then?
The Dinacharya has been planned based on the circadian rhythm. Human beings, for that matter, any beings on the earth, they are very much dependent on the environment around us. We are dependent on the sun. We are not nocturnal. So we have to adjust our body to the nature around us. And when we do that, that harmonizing, when it is set, that is the best productive, the best possible productive state you can have.
Sure.
So that's the reason why every activity is placed in particular this. Like in a day, we say there are 30 muhurtas. 30.
Okay.
So each muhurta means 48 minutes or so. 45 to 48 minutes. And for every muhurta, there is an activity mentioned. So for example, when you should get up in the morning. If you are a healthy person, of course, if you have certain disease, the getting up changes. You should wake up in the 14th muhurta of Ratri. That is, if you divide in a perfect day, the 30 muhurtas are 15 plus 15. And just 48 minutes prior to sunrise.
So just before sunrise when? So what time will that be technically?
Technically, it is like we consider it starts from 96 minutes prior to sunrise.
So 5 o'clock? 4:35. That's what they say.
4:32.
Can you imagine? Most people are not doing this right at all, and I don't do it. 6:30 is still reasonable. Because our lifestyles have spilled over into the Ratri Muhurtas, if I can put it. Like so much of work gets done at the night. There are jobs which are expecting you to work to service people in the night in Europe, in America. It's just a difficult time, right?
Very true. Very true.
So what else do we need to know about Dinacharya?
One more important thing is, even though the standard practices have been told, like Muhurta wise, or how to do it with elaboration, like how to have bath, how to do oil massage and everything, but they have considered that people might not be into all these things, and they might have to vary a little bit based on their like profession or anything, culture, etc. So they have given shortcuts for each of these, and they have told how to manage it so that you kind of whatever benefits you get from practicing those practices, you get those, and you don't get the side effects of not doing it in a full.
So can you give us an example? I mean, you just did with oil pulling. Keep it shorter. You know, that's great example. What else? Any other example?
Divaswap, like day sleeping. People usually get very less sleep at night. Many professionals, right? Or people work at night, late night.
Yeah.
For them, even though Ayurveda says that you have to go to sleep at certain muhurta and everything, but if you are unable to sleep at that time and you go on working late
Sure.
night, so what you can do is, whatever time you have been keeping yourself awake during night time, calculate that time, 50% of that
Okay.
you sleep during afternoon just before your lunch, prior
Before
to your
lunch.
lunch. Yeah.
Okay.
And that is enough. That will keep you healthy.
So let's say I have lunch at 1.
Yeah.
So a little before that, maybe 11:30, 12.
Yeah.
If I missed out 2 hours of sleep in the night,
Yeah.
and I know that I didn't sleep for 2 hours well, 1 hour I sleep at that time.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
So where can people find authentic Ayurvedic information, especially on Dinacharya, right? What are the things? How do we do it? Where should we go read about it?
There are a lot of literature available
Mm.
nowadays. You can definitely check out those. But the best part would be to go to an authentic Ayurveda physician, understand your Prakriti, because that is the basis of everything.
Sure.
Even the charyas or these practices are designed for to be modified according to your personal
Yeah.
needs. So the authentic Ayurveda physician
Yeah.
will design that day for you, and he will tell you what to eat, what to practice, what medicines are good for you, what hobbies are right for you. So
But where do we find them? So there are so many Ayurvedic practitioners. Is Ayush certified now? Like,
Yes.
that list of doctors, they are the best. Is that what you think would help people?
Ayurveda has become a lot of it has proliferated in couple of these back years. So there is an advantage and disadvantage as well.
Mm.
There are people who are certified practitioners, especially if you see my subject Swasthavrita is that I usually Swasthavrita, it means I design this routine for a healthy person. But there are also people who have entered Ayurveda just for the degree, and they don't learn it in its proper essence. So it's pretty difficult to tell. Ayush Ministry do have a list of Ayurveda
And it's better to
doctors.
go through that.
Yeah,
And do
yeah.
they also have like content that people can read?
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So this is very helpful
Yeah.
because there's so many people talking about so many
Yeah.
things online, right? But where is the authentic information, the real, genuine
Yeah.
thing that is meant for our yoga, right? That isn't the Ayush Ministry has literature
Yeah,
on that.
they are right now developing it. And Ayush Ministry, since it has become a separate ministry,
Yeah.
it has done very great initiatives.
Yeah.
There is NCISM right now, another body, autonomous body, which kind of is regulating the educational system. Of course, as everything had impact of British
COVID.
education.
Oh, okay.
Ayurveda also got that impact, and now the original methodology of study of Ayurveda was Gurukula system.
Yeah.
From the master, you
Yeah.
have to sit near master, see the
Yeah.
actual practice it and learn it. Even though we have a lot of shlokas to by heart, but that was the method
Yeah.
how it developed,
Yeah.
and it was lost in between. But now Ayush Ministry is reviving it in different ways. Of course, it is modernizing, but it is bringing out very good initiatives.
Okay.
New education policy also has brought in.
Okay. So
this.
okay, got it. So basically, the conclusion is find a good Ayurvedic doctor. Try to go through the Ayush Ministry
Yes.
for authentic information.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So I want to come to the fun part.
Yeah.
Okay. Staying young.
Yeah.
So there are a few things that I do want to talk about, which is 20s, 30s, 40s, and after.
Yeah.
What can people do? So let's start with diet and nutrition. Are there
Yeah.
one or two things a 20-year-old, people in their 30s, 40s, and above can do?
Okay, a diet and nutrition for a 20-year-old would be to have as a good protein as possible. So when I say protein, I'm using this protein language because people do understand it very easily.
Yeah.
So protein sources, when I'm saying, it's not just non-veg. There is a dairy protein, pulses, and seeds, etc.
Yes.
So try to have as good protein as possible, but then you have to be mindful of your digestion as well,
Yeah.
how much you can digest, what kind of protein you can digest.
Yeah.
So because that is the period when you are building your body.
Okay. A person in their 20s should look at having protein dominant food.
Yes.
Okay. And
30s,
30s?
Try to keep
Yeah.
away from regular fast food.
Yeah, sure. That's always a given, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And in 30s, it is a period wherein your growth is done.
Yeah.
And you have to start maintaining it.
Yeah.
So I would suggest to go for usage of lubricating foods, like
Okay.
good oils, good ghee is the best elixir. Actually, there is a lot of misconception on ghee.
Absolutely. I think ghee is great.
Yeah. And it doesn't actually, I have scientific proof that ghee doesn't increase your cholesterol.
Yeah.
Please have it. I advocate it for everybody.
Yeah.
Without even people who have diabetes can have ghee.
Yeah.
Or cholesterol can have ghee.
Yeah.
It actually increases good cholesterol, and it is very much required. The plaques, etc., are formed because of not having proper cholesterol. That lubrication is required. Don't have dry foods. Don't go for fats. See what is right for you.
Yeah.
And go good oil seeds are very great.
Sure. Like pumpkin seeds, flax seeds, all of these seeds.
And we have a good seed culture in our Indian system. Like peanuts are very good. They are good source of protein as well as good fat. So go for ghee and try to have a balanced diet, because from that moment onwards your building has done. It's done. So have a proper balance of protein and fats, carbohydrates and all these things, because if you end up having more of protein or more of one sort of food, it's not a balanced diet. So it's always better, like Ayurveda gives a very good list of ingredients which are good to have on a daily basis. So you can get the Nitya Sevaniya Dravyas, they are called as, like rice. Rice is one of the food that you can have on a daily basis. Milk is very good for you.
Both controversial.
Yeah, that's why I'm bringing that
Maybe it's
out.
always because of the proportions, it's always very how much we eat that matters, right?
That, and then the commercialization. The product that you get nowadays is processed a lot. So you try to go for raw rice or less polished. This
brown rice
is good. Red rice is awesome.
Amazing.
And then try to practice the food that is grown in that place. Like every place in India has its own regional food, regional delicacy. So that is designed by structure. That is a purposefully curated culture.
By nature also, and culture, right?
So that is the best food for you, for that environment, for that digestive capacity, for everything. So try practicing. Like for example, Bangalore is a ragi place originally. Rice, okay, but rice also came back later. But originally it is ragi. So try to have at least one meal.
And
of
it's so
ragi.
hard to digest ragi for most people today.
Yes.
I keep talking about this. It's so sad, right? But then you can build it. You can build, right?
Yes.
So what happens, what diet and nutrition, one or two things for 40 plus?
40 plus is where you inculcate good vegetables and protective foods. Gourds specifically. And South India is blessed with so many sorts of gourds. I was doing some research for what kind of foods, etc., I can prescribe for Westerners. And I was surprised that snake gourd is only available in South India, not even in North India. So very rarely it is available there.
That's really
all
interesting.
sorts of gourds are very good. You include vegetables and all, but make sure that you are not including too much of vegetables also. It has to be the plate portion of as per Ayurveda is little bit different.
Okay.
So we advocate grains and non-veg to be major portion, and vegetables and other dals, etc., pulses are supportive.
I have never heard this. Because one of the things that I learned over a period of time is and through my personal interest, is that Ayurveda is not vegetarianism. Ayurveda in fact says eat like a lamb, So because it jumps, right? If you, because you get the nature of that particular animal also, which is light and vibrant and
Very
it's jumping around. So people misunderstand, or we don't know actually, right, that Ayurveda is not saying it's just vegetarianism. It says it's poshana, it's ahara, right? Like
Yes.
you have that balance, and it's unbelievable that I had someone else who had come who talked about plant forward movement, right?
Yeah.
Where we said mostly the pyramid is get the greens on top,
Yeah.
and then at the end have things that you can't digest very easily, which
Yeah.
is just the opposite of what you're
Proteins.
saying, right? So Ayurveda basically says have good meat
Yeah.
and have grains, and then have your greens and everything else to complement that.
Yeah.
Okay, very
Yeah.
interesting.
Balanced food is when you have all groups of food in your plate.
But is that something you can try in your 40s also?
Yeah,
Okay.
you must actually.
Yeah.
You should never take out any particular, like people when they reach 40s, they start to think, okay, I should not gain weight.
Yeah.
Especially ladies, they start to feel like, okay, the menopause is approaching, so I should take out the fat, carbohydrates. No, that is the worst step that you can take. Should always balance your meal.
Yeah.
Reduce the portion,
Yeah.
but include everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, Ayurveda is, it's not like pro plant or non-veg or something, veganism or something, but it's just, it's knowledge of all things that you can eat.
And it doesn't exclude it.
Yeah.
That's the fundamental thing that I really want us to talk about,
Yeah.
right? It's really great. And anything for very old people?
As you old, like maybe above 40 or 60s,
Yeah.
in your 60s, it's always better to pace. First of all, I would suggest like well cooked food, because your digestion will start to become weak.
Yeah.
So try not to have raw foods much, salads, etc. Try to go for like a properly cooked food.
Yeah.
And easy digestible,
Yeah.
this, and even fiber rich food,
Yeah.
which can help, because see, the one of the aging markers is your esophagus also, if you see, or your gut, the peristaltic movement, which kind of pushes the food further, it slows down.
Yeah.
That is when your digestive capacity lowers because of that.
Yeah.
And it's not like enzymes and this, but yeah, enzymes also do make this. But your movement itself has slowed down. You walk slow, you think slow, everything slows down. The medha, in Ayurveda 60s, this is so told to be, the medha shakti will start to reduce.
Right.
The eyes, the indriyas will reduce. The sexual vigor, like of course the sexual vigor as per Ayurveda, if properly, if you age, it doesn't reduce till 70s and 80s.
Right.
So you can see, even at that point of time, the kings used to father a child in their 70s.
Yeah. So, but are there foods that support that also, or is it a whole overall lifestyle towards sexual health?
Overall lifestyle, everything, food, and your activities, even the day-to-day abhyanga or these things.
Massages. Abhyanga is massage, right? Daily massages.
It's not like, of course, it is advocated to go for daily massage, but if you're not able to do it on a daily basis, at least do it once in 3 days, 2 days, or just oil your joints, major joints that hold your
that improves or keeps your sexual health alive.
It improves your overall health and your mindset as well. Like you are comfortable in your own body.
Got it.
And that relaxed attitude improves your interests in other things.
Okay, that's wonderful. So it's not just about food, but it's also about lifestyle, like you said, right? So oiling, abhyanga is a part of a lifestyle practice.
Yeah,
that's great. I want to move to emotional health, right? So in your 20s, what to 60 and above, what are people, one thing, right? What should people do to keep themselves emotionally well?
I would lean towards yoga as well here. In your 20s, I know you are in a very different mindset. You are young, you are energetic. Go for dynamic asanas. Improve your cardiac health. Prepare your heart for and blood vessels for what is coming next. Go for this dynamic Surya Namaskar, all these things, and of course definitely try for some pranayama. I'll not suggest for I'll not force for meditation or dharana, etc., samadhi, all these things. I know at that point of time the mind is very like fast and chanchala, so go for pranayama. It will help you, or it will equip you to face the challenges of day-to-day life. Because the life is not as it was previous, it's very fast paced, and you you challenge yourself mentally, physically, on a day-to-day basis, and people get stressed, and that is when we start to hold our body very tight, mind becomes rigid, and that's when the aging starts.
Right. Okay.
That is the oxidative stress.
So even if you're eating right, you're sleeping right, if you don't take care of your mind, it has a very negative, it can overpower everything else.
Yes, right? Mind is very powerful. So that is one thing. And if you go for 30s, I would say go for inculcate into meditation a little bit. You need to pace yourself a little bit. And 40s and above would be strength training.
Got it.
You have to keep yourself, because the degeneration starts. The muscular, this memory has to be retained.
Yes.
So you need to go for proper yoga. You can go for a slower part of yoga. That is wonderful. But you mix it with some strength.
Like Ashtanga Yoga. Like Ashtanga Yoga is, I mean, there's so much of debate. The people who support gym, like the fitness guru, so to say, they always say, don't do yoga, it's a waste. But the problem is that, and when my yoga teacher herself was here, 64 and phenomenal, right? The muscular strength, etc. She says, do the right yoga. It's not, yoga is not to lose weight or just for flexibility. Just try Ashtanga Surya Namaskar. And you will know that you cannot, your body calisthenics don't work. If
very true.
You can't be in a posture like that without muscular strength.
Very true.
Right?
Very
so,
true. It changes you in the ways that you cannot anticipate. Yoga is not just exercise, it's beyond that. And only a person who can, I don't say okay, if you are not that yoga pro, don't go for meditation or something. If you are not liking it, go for just asanas. It will automatically tune you into that this.
So there's a beautiful thing that Andrew Huberman, he runs Huberman Labs, become very popular now, right? In the West and around the world. He says, and I think it's the fundamental basis of ancient Indian knowledge as well, which says the way to the mind is through the body.
Yes.
Even if you stand straight, you will not get depressed. But the whole day we're looking at our phones like this.
It
is, the body is wired to be a certain way, sit a certain way, operate a certain way, but we don't know, and we don't do it even if we
very true. You mind your posture, your mind
is so much more positive, right? It's unbelievable. So what happens in your so basically we talked about 20s, 30s, and what happens after that?
After that, of course, it's true for 40s onwards. You need to keep yourself active. I would suggest go for some extra hobbies. When you near your retirement, it's always better to have, of course, strength training and the other things should continue. If you are starting to have degenerative changes, there are certain changes. Nowadays, every exercise or yoga therapist will give you a modified posture which you can perform, wherein you don't put more of the weight on your degenerating joint. But at the same time, you maintain its health, you maintain your weight, your physical structure, your set of muscles, and mental this. You can divide, you can inculcate walking. Simple walking also gives, but walking is not for younger people.
It's for older people, right?
If that's what you are young and you are walking, that means it's not at all enough. You are not exercising.
Got it. It's not an exercise for young people. Okay. Oh my God. So because of so much amazing knowledge that you have, right? And I've learned so much through the last hour. What is that one thing? Okay. And maybe just maximum 2 things, right? So that people can be focused, that anybody and everybody should not do according to Ayurveda. What should we stop doing?
if I have to boil it down to two things, I would bring it to the dietary practices, first of all, very primary, because that is the way wherein your prana is going inside you. You are kind of supplementing everything. There are two ways to look at dietary practices. One is what you put inside your body, and then how you put it. Okay, of course, there is another aspect wherein if your body is able to digest it. Okay, so the processed food, processed, when I say, it might be anything and everything. Even the raw food materials that you are bringing in your home can be processed. The maida, milk, many a times. Vegan milk is a highly processed.
Vegan milk is processed from almonds and everything. So
vegan yogurts, etc. Those are highly processed. They are not naturally formed.
But there's so much controversy around cow's milk also. Right?
Even cow's milk is processed.
So what milk do we have, right?
it's very
really
tough.
Scary.
It's very. That's what it's scary. That is a proper term. You have to try to find organic things as much as possible, even though they are costly, even though they are tough to find. If you want to maintain your health, find organic foods. Second is the processed food, ready-made foods, like the foods like fast foods in a way. Pizzas and burgers, juices are nothing but sugar and water.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
Even though it says fresh, it's not a fresh juice. It's you have the luxury of having fruits here. You have the luxury of fresh vegetables. So try to have those as much as possible. I understand that it might be tough for you, but then it should not stop you from being healthy. If you make up your mind, your brain is very wonderful. It's genius, and without your knowledge, it will start to find ways in which to make it happen. So it will make it happen. You just have to think about it. You have to develop that habit. Of course, it takes, for a habit to form, it takes around 60 days. So you will have to put in 60 days of effort. That's all.
So that's the thing that I want to talk about as well, right? I may have started something, but mostly when I talk to everyone, they say, I don't know how to continue. So does Ayurveda actually say that there is something, some way, an approach to sustain something in our life that we truly adopt?
It's more of discipline. Any Indian sciences, if you take, it is the discipline. Like the Patanjali's first sutra states that Atha Yoganushasana. So that it is a discipline that you have to inculcate. Purposeful actions. So I know it is tough, especially nowadays. The timings are very odd. The working hours, the school hours, from childhood, it is very tough. But if you can just take a step back, imagine your day. I would recommend just jot down your day, time wise, what you do, because we are usually very cyclic during working days. So, and then jot down what you do during your holidays, like weekends, etc. And then there will be a pattern, and definitely you will start finding ways in which you can make slight changes. You start with one thing. Never try to include everything at one time. Start with one simple thing. For example, if you take exercising, I usually suggest lazy exercises first.
Stretches
as soon as you get up in the morning, you just go for some exercises. Just don't come out of your bed. On your bed itself, you start mobilizing your joints. Make it just 5 minutes a day, or 2 minutes, 3 minutes a day. So you start with that. And then slowly go to this, like there is a Kaizen principle and all, right? So you just start with that. And I have seen that 60% of people end up having proper exercise schedules in their day. It might not be 1 hour exercise schedule, but they divide. Like morning, they will find, okay, I can find 26 minutes. And they plan how to use those 26 minutes as exercise. Evening, okay, I can take stairs instead of elevator. I can walk around in the this, or I can find 30 minutes before my dinner.
So it's basically looking at bits and bytes, right?
Yes.
Like Atomic Habits is a very nice book.
Yes, very
Initially,
true.
I was like, what is this one Surya Namaskar? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But psychologically, apparently, your brain starts wiring towards a small thing that you're introducing.
Yeah.
And eventually, you build and make the
Yeah.
time. So I've had a very beautiful, very rich, focused conversation. It's been unbelievably amazing.
Thank you.
And I really want to sort of end this. And I can't let you go without really, our listeners understanding what is the message that Ayurveda has.
Yeah.
And what's that one message that you want to share as well with everybody who spent all this time listening to all the wonderful content that you shared?
If I bring it to one word, harmonize yourself would be the basic message of Ayurveda, because it's a very broad science, and I'm not such a big scholar to give or like boil down the Ayurveda into one message. But then the basic idea of Ayurveda is to make yourself comfortable in your body
Yeah.
and your environment. So you have a good body to live in,
Yeah.
and you have a good life.
Yeah.
We divide life into 4 variants: Sukhayu, Hitayu, or Dukhayu, Hitayu in a way. So
Sukhayu, Dukhayu,
Hitayu, Hitayu.
Ahitayu.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it means like the best possible, best quality of life that you can have. That is Hitayu. But we don't stop there. We say that even though you have best quality of life, you should be very happy in your life, with what you have accomplished in your environment. That is Sukhayu.
Got it.
So we want you to travel from Dukhayu, Hitayu to Hitayu.
And Dukha is sadness.
Yes, you are very unhappy. You have a lot of diseases, such others. Hitayu is okay. You have accomplished enough. You're comfortable, but still you're not satisfied. You're not happy.
So it starts with Dukhayu.
Yeah.
Hitayu. Ahitayu.
Yeah.
Dukhayu, Ahitayu, Hitayu, and Sukhayu. Okay, so the ultimate state that Ayurveda wants a human being to get to is Sukhayu.
Yes.
Which is not only that you've been able to accomplish through body, mind, spirit, everything, your emotions, but also to enjoy it. So for staying young, right? What are the herbs and supplements that people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s and above can use?
We do have a concept of age-wise rasayana, it is called. For Jara Chikitsa, it is rasayana chikitsa. So one herb, simple herb I can quote. Of course, for childhood also we do have, from birth onwards, we have different this. But if you come to 20s, I would suggest ghee becomes the rasayana there.
Okay.
And for 30s,
it's like a herb. It plays the role of a herb there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But cow's ghee, which is yellow, and try to go for an organically sourced and prepared one, not the mechanized one.
Or make it at home.
Yeah, that is the best way. And 5 ml of ghee on a daily basis in the morning will give you a lot of change.
In your 20s?
Yes.
Okay.
It is preparing for the next this. Because we had a study wherein the comparison was done for age 30 and 40 people who had taken ghee, one group, and the people who had not consumed ghee for 3 or 4 months like this. And it was a longitudinal study, and it was found that when they came to 40s, the group who had consumed ghee did not have, like, they had very good immune status. They didn't fall sick that often. They had better quality of tissues compared to the people who had not taken ghee.
Interesting.
So that is how impactful it is. Then if you come to 30s, that would be like haritaki is a herb.
But it's very strong, right?
Yeah, you have to, of course, go for a consultation and decide the perfect dose for you, or whether the different rasayana can also be given depending on your prakriti, your requirement, and all those things. But usually haritaki is a very good medicine
for anyone in their 30s.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you come to 40s, because we say that from of course the 50s and 60s are the one wherein Medha Shakti starts to reduce. But nowadays, because of faster aging process, I would recommend Brahmi or Shankapushpi.
Shankapushmi.
Shankapushpi.
Shankapushpi.
Yeah, flower like
it's like a shanka. Okay, got it. Yeah.
those two drugs are amazing.
Okay.
We even give that for children. We have
Yeah.
Brahmi drink and all.
Yeah.
So you can definitely start it in any form. If you want to grow, you are in a terrain where it grows actually.
So in your gardens, you can just
Yeah.
grow these.
Yeah.
So what
Couple
do
of
they do?
leaves.
So first of all, fundamentally go to an Ayurvedic practitioner, a good one,
Yeah.
authentic one, who can tell you how much you need.
Yes.
But if I got it right, ghee in 20s,
Yeah.
haritaki in your 30s, men and women, 40s and above have
Brahmi
Brahmi and
Shankapushpi.
Shankapushpi.
Yeah.
Okay, what does haritaki do? One or two things.
Haritaki is its synonym is given as mother in a way. Okay, so it takes care of overall your organ systems, because from
Yeah.
that moment onwards you need to maintain your body. So it especially your gut,
Yeah.
because that is like input device for us. So it maintains your gut. It helps in proper peristaltic movement, evacuation. Plus, it is a kind of an elixir for your organs.
Okay.
Proper hormonal secretions,
Mm.
enzyme secretions,
Mm.
all these are maintained by
Sure.
Haritaki.
Okay.
And when it comes to Brahmi and Shankapushpi, it has a very good impact on your mind.
Yeah.
Like my PhD study was nasal this drops of Brahmi oil,
Okay.
and for that too for anxiety patients.
Okay.
And I found out that without even medications, of course, it took a long duration for them, but they were able to manage their condition.
Yeah.
They started to get better resilience and
Yeah.
mental this.
Oh,
So
wow.
schizophrenia,
Yeah.
phrenia, and these
Yeah.
are the research has been found that it can be managed by just simple diet and lifestyle correction.
Interesting.
So functional medicine, now the modern medicine has changed its approach.
And it's integrated Ayurveda in it as well,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
multiple this have
Sure.
been started. Integrative medicines have
Sure.
come up.
Oh, that's
So, yeah.
beautiful. These are like very, very great pieces of nugget that people can actually end up using. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
what a beautiful note. And I loved our conversation. Thank you for coming to Vitamin D with Mohana and spend this beautiful time with us. And I wish that we will have you over again.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.